Welcome everyone to this tutorial on creating interactive and scrollable maps in Adobe XD. This is our York Castle Museum sample app that we looked at in earlier sessions. At the moment we have a home page and we have a map page, and just to show you how these work, these are linked together and you can move between the two. Now, what we want to do is create a map or a plan as we have here, which is going to be slightly larger than this artboard, and we're going to make it scrollable so we can move it around. What we're going to start off by doing is creating this image here that we have of the plan as a scroll group. When I click on it, we can see that it's highlighted with its bounding box there, and over on the right hand side we have different options to allow us to create scroll groups. This is useful for creating horizontal scroll groups. The next one across is vertical scroll groups, but what we want is both horizontal and vertical scrolls, so we can move that map in any direction. So all I'm going to do at the moment is just click that scroll group. Now you can see that has now changed that plan into a scroll group, which allows us to create a sort of boundary box around it. What we want to do is make that boundary box the same width and height as our sort of viewing area on that artboard. So I'm just going to grab these little tabs at the side and I'm going to move them across just so they expand to the edges of that particular viewing area. Now when I click off that, what I can do is just click the preview, click through to the map, and you can see I can drag it around, but obviously because it's smaller than that view box, that scroll group that I've created, it's not going to scroll anywhere. So you can kind of see it sort of move, but it's not going anywhere. What we want to do is make it bigger than that scroll group. So let's go back to Adobe XD there. You can see at the side in the layers it has created the scroll group. It's just called it scroll group 1 for now. I'm going to rename that as map scroll group just so I know what that is. Clicking on the little icon next to it will expand that scroll group and show you what is in there. At the moment we have that Kirkgate map. So if I just click on that, you can see these the bounding box is highlighted again. I'm going to hold down Shift so it keeps the same ratio rather than being skewed, and I'm going to drag it out to become larger than that scroll group there. So this is going to be quite large, and you can see it's actually now larger than the artboard itself. When I click off the artboard, you'll see the scroll group then limits the visibility of that to that particular area in here. When I click the preview icon again, it will show that now we can actually drag that around within that scroll group. Now I'm not particularly happy with this because there isn't really any boundary around there. It feels, it feels quite tight to the edge. And that is because our scroll group, our map doesn't actually have any padding within there. So what I'm going to do is go back to that scroll group and just create some padding within it. So let's go to the map page, and we can see in our scroll group we have Kirkgate map. I am going to create another rectangle around this plan just to give it a little bit of padding. So let's go to the rectangle tool, and you can see I'm already within the scroll group layer here. And let's just drag out a rectangle around there. Okay. It doesn't need a border, so I'm going to click off the border there, and it's quite happy being the white fill that we have there. Okay, so you can see now that that has overlaid the plan. So currently it's just white. Let's go back and just make sure that what we're going to do is put this below the map. So we can see our map is back there, but actually it's now sitting on a background which is slightly larger than it, which should give it some padding. Let's go back and have a test there. So now you can see we have a nice bit of padding around that map. So that is a scrollable map. We can also put on various icons or markers that we want people to see on that map. I'm just going to go to Icon Monster, which is a great source for free icons if you need anything that you think is going to be sort of useful within your project. And I'm just going to search for map marker here, and you can see it comes back with lots of different kinds of map markers. I'm just going to go for something fairly simple, so let's just go for this one here. It'll ask you to download and then save it to a location. I'm just going to put it in the desktop for now. So going back to Adobe XD, let's go to File, Import, and import our map marker there. Okay, right, so that has now come in. It's just on the pasteboard at the moment, which means it's not associated with any of the artboards that we have open. You can see pasteboard there. So what I'm going to do is Control X, or I can just right click and cut. I'm going to go to my map page. So open up the map page, and let's just put it there. It's a little small at the moment, so let's drag it out, again holding Shift so it maintains the same aspect ratio. And let's just put it on one of the shops here. I can change it to any color. So let's just, I don't know, make it a green. And what we then want to do, I'm just going to rename that map marker, is to drag that within the scroll group. We want that marker to maintain its position on the map. So it needs to be within here. So now, again, going back to the viewer map, you can see that marker is now positioned correctly and fixed in a position on that scrollable map. We can, if we want, make this interactive. So if you want people to be able to click on that marker and trigger an action or something, we can do that. We'll look at that in later sessions. Now, I've created a plan here, but a lot of you will be working with standard maps, similar to Google Maps or Bing Maps or other things that you're used to. The same principle applies for those maps as well. So very quickly, I'm going to show you how to just drag in a standard map. I'm going to use York as a focus, and I'm going to use a tool called Snazzy Maps, which is a great way of customizing maps to your own particular need. So I'm just going to go to Snazzy Maps, and it's just the URL here, or you can Google search it. Then I'm going to go to create a style. Now it'll automatically recognize where I am. And these are all the features which Google Maps would normally present. So it goes down into the administrative, the landscape, points of interest, so attractions, all these kind of things down here, roads, transit, water, all that kind of stuff. However, I want a map which is not going to show me anything in terms of labels. So I'm going to go to all, which is this sort of parent item up here, look at the labels, and then visibility, I'm just going to say off. And then away, everything disappears. Let's get rid of those Google ads as well. Let's take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to use that as my map. What I'm going to do is on Windows machines, you can use Control, Shift, and S to grab a screenshot directly from the things that you're looking at. On Mac, I can't remember what it is, but you can Google it and be able to grab a screenshot from there too. So Control Shift and S, I can then just drag a window where I want to do my screenshot. So let's just drag that sort of York area out around here. And once I let go of the mouse button, it will say, do you want to copy it or download it? I'm quite happy with copying it because I'm just going to paste it straight into Adobe XD. So let's go copy, and then I'm going to go to my map page, and in my map scroll group, I'm going to paste that map in there. Now you can see it's come in a sort of semi-transparent state. I'm going to rename that map image just so I know what it is. And I'm going to retain the map marker on there. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I'm also going to put it, and I can just about see where the Castle Museum is, which is down here. Now I don't need this Kirkgate map anymore, and I don't need that rectangle background anymore. So for now, I'm just going to delete those, and then what we have is our scroll group with our marker, and that is all that remains within that map scroll group. So clicking off there again now narrows and crops that down to just that scroll group, just so we can see it. And if I just click on the home page, just go to play to preview it, click on the viewer map, and now I can move that map wherever I want. One limitation of Adobe XD is that pinch zoom, and well, zoom of any kind, is nigh on impossible. There are ways around it. They're not very good, but for the purposes of your personal projects, we won't be looking at zoom. You can, in your write-up, say that you might be using a pinch zoom functionality or whatever on your maps, but don't worry about incorporating it here. The standard sort of scroll should be enough for you to do that there. So that is our tutorial on scrollable and interactive maps. Obviously, if there's anything that you would like to know further on top of this regarding maps, then do give me a shout, and we'll cover other things in the remainder of the course.